I have a prediction for you. I have a prediction, and it's a big one. It's a very big one, but I'm convinced I know something about you. Do you know what I know about you? Here it is. 2025 is going to be your greatest year ever. That's my prediction. It's true. You are going to write that book. Some of you have almost written a book for years. This is going to be the year you actually finish, and you're going to get a box of them on your porch, and you're going to open them and be so excited. Some of you are going to start or scale that business. You're going to start it for the first time. You're going to make that first dollar, that first $100, that first $1,000, that first $10,000. Some of you are going to scale it bigger and bigger and bigger. You've had this little passion that turned into kind of a side hustle, and you're on the edge of making it your hustle, your full-time thing. And you're going to hire your first employee. You're going to get your biggest client. You're going to scale that business. Some of you are going to get in shape. You're going to learn how to walk or run or cycle. By the end of this year, you're going to be amazed at your progress. You're going to say, I wasn't even a runner at the start of this year, and now I've done a half marathon, maybe even a whole marathon. Some of you are going to get out of debt. Some of you, that's the thing you're going to do in 2025. You're going to pay off those bills. You're going to finish your student loans or a credit card or a car. Some of you are going to declutter that garage or maybe an attic, or maybe that one room that's just gathered everything. Like it's kind of like an extended version of the laundry chair. Everybody has a chair they put their laundry on. It's like 3 devices in your house, a washer, a dryer, a chair, and you've got a whole room, and you're going to empty that room. You're going to do all of that and so much more. How do I know? Because on January 1st, when you start the year, at the very beginning of the year, you're going to have a few things on your side. The first thing you're going to have is a custom plan for the first quarter. You're going to be so ready for that first quarter. You're not going to start January 1st and not know what to do next. You're not going to have that feeling most people have at the beginning of the year of going, what do I even begin with? You're going to have a plan custom built to your needs, your strengths, your expectations of what the year holds. The second thing you're going to have a rock solid mindset. You're going to have a mindset that pushes you forward. That's the greatest thing I've learned over the last 5 years, is how important your mindset is. Mindset matters. And you're going to have a mindset that encourages you. You have up to 60,000 thoughts a day. Imagine what you can do in 2025 when those thoughts are pushing for you, not against you. You're also going to have more motivation than you've ever felt before. Most people quit their goals on the second Friday of January. Strava, the #1 fitness tracking app in the world, studied that and found, after looking at 800 million athletic activities, that most people quit on the second Friday of January, but not you. You're going to make it through that because you're going to have so much motivation. You're also going to have proof of how you work best. You're not going into the new year not knowing how to operate this thing called you. You're going to have real proof. You'll know exactly what to do because you've already done some of it before. You're also going to have a goal tracking system that makes winning easy. Here's what you need to know. Failure is loud and obvious. Progress is quiet. It whispers. If you don't measure progress, it disappears. You don't see it. But I'm going to show you how to track your goals. And you're going to have all the tools you need to deal with the 5 big foes, the foes that wreck our New Year's. I'm talking about procrastination. I'm talking about perfectionism. I'm talking about self-sabotage. I'm talking about imposter syndrome. I'm talking about overthinking. Did any of those words hit you hard? Did you go, ooh, he's read my diary. I'm a perfectionist. I have a hard time starting. Or every time I get a little bit of success, I find myself sabotaging, or I've got a bit of imposter syndrome. How do I know you're going to get all of those things and move in that direction? Because you're going to spend the next 8 weeks with me and my team in a brand new course called The Greatest Year Ever. And here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to build. I want to tell you up front, this is exactly what's going to happen. This is my promise. We're going to do 8 weeks of action and enjoy 52 weeks of success. 8 weeks of action from November to the end of December that'll generate 52 weeks of success. And at the end of the 8 weeks, here's my promise. You will have a first quarter goal plan. You're going to have that plan. You're going to have something you can operate against for that first quarter. You're going to know exactly where you're headed. You're also going to have 5 custom soundtracks and the ability to create hundreds more. What's a soundtrack? A soundtrack is my phrase for repetitive thought. A thought you listen to again and again. You're going to have such a strong mindset because your mindset will be built on fresh, new, winning thoughts. You'll have those soundtracks and you'll know how to build them all year long. You also have a look forward to list with 50 to 100 items. Do you know why we run out of motivation? Because we don't have anything to look forward to. We think motivation will just kind of happen on its own. It doesn't. Motivation is a muscle. You have to use it. You have to practice it. I'll show you how to do that. You'll also have a 1-month tested goal. We're going to test some of your goals during this course so that you know when you start on January, oh, here's what really works for me because we will have already tested it. You'll also have a goal tracking system so that you know how to track what's working in every goal you work on in 2025. And you'll have some tools to deal with those 5 foes: procrastination, perfectionism, self-sabotage, imposter syndrome, and overthinking. Who am I? I'm John Acuff. I'm a New York Times bestselling author of 10 books. I've had my own 7-figure company for the last 11 years. I'm an Inc. Top 100 business speaker, and I've helped companies like Comedy Central, Range Rover, Walmart, FedEx, Nissan. I've been married for 23 years, and I live outside of Nashville, Tennessee with my wife and 2 daughters. And I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen over the next 8 weeks, because if I were you, I would want to know. Normally with videos, they're quick. You get a 60-second reel that goes, hey, spend hundreds of dollars on this 60 seconds. And there's a lot of jump cuts and it's fast and there's music and you go, but what will I really get? What's going to really happen if I were you and I was going to spend some money with somebody like me? I'd want to know what was going to happen. So get ready. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. The overall format is really simple. We're going to have 17 video lessons and 8 live coaching sessions. 17 video sessions, 8 live coaching sessions. Often people ask me, John, do you do one-on-one coaching? And I don't. It would be too expensive. It's not what I'm built for. I'm built for group coaching. That's how I coach people in the context of small groups like the one you're about to join. Now, each session will be on Monday and Wednesday. They will be between 15 minutes to 30 minutes long and will be taught by me. They will be action-packed and full of tactical, practical steps you can use to build your greatest year ever. Now, clearly, there's going to be a ton of motivation, a ton of inspiration. I'm a rah-rah guy, but there's not going to be a lot of fluff. You're going to get real tools you can really use in your real life. And then on Fridays, we'll get together live to discuss the lessons and answer any questions you have. So what will you learn? Well, let's go through the schedule. I'll tell you exactly what you'll learn. On Monday, November 4th, the first day, we're going to do a setup and an initial assessment. I'm going to set you up with the 3 permissions you need if you want to have a big year. I'm talking about the permission to try, the permission to edit, the permission to win. Those are the things that beat procrastination and beat overthinking and perfectionism and self-sabotage and imposter syndrome. You see, a lot of us are waiting for permission. We're waiting to be told we can do it, and I'm going to tell you can do it. And not only that, but how to do it. We're going to take an initial assessment, though, to figure out where are you right now. If you look at your life and you think about your life in goals and in big games, if you will, if you look at your career, your finances, your relationships, your health, your fun, where are you right now? Let's get an assessment so we can figure out where we're headed. So we're going to do a setup and a quick assessment. And then on Wednesday, we're going to jump into a look forward to list. You see, when you build an amazing year, when you build your greatest year ever, you need to start with hope. Let me say that really clearly. You're not lazy. You just don't have enough hope yet. Once you have hope, once you have a win in mind, once you have a vision, you'll run through a wall. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to create a look forward to list to fill you up with so much hope. It's almost impossible for you to not finish your goals. On Friday, we'll do a Q&A. It'll be our first one, and we're going to talk about that look forward to list and any other question you have. The way we do Q&As is really interesting. We gather questions. So we gather questions, then we take them live too, so that you have a chance to submit a question. Even if you're not there, you can see the video replay and go, okay, that was my answer. And the questions can be anything. You can ask me, John, this is the title of the book I'm writing. What do you think? And I'll tell you very honestly, that title will sell a lot of copies. Or, ooh, don't do that title. I did a title like that once and it bombed. Be careful. You can ask me any question you want. It doesn't just have to be based on the content we've talked about. Again, that's why I do individual coaching in a group situation. Your question can be very specific to your specific life. Now, on Monday, second week, we're going to talk about how to build a goal list. We're going to brainstorm a massive list of goals. I'm going to give you 1 week. Again, I told you there's a lot of activities. 1 week to come up with that big list. That's one of the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to their year. They plan their goals the first week of January. The year's already started. You're already behind, but you won't be. Most people do that, but we're not most people. You're going to plan your goals with me, so we're going to brainstorm a lot of goals. On Wednesday, November 13th, I'll teach you how to make your own time machine. That's right. We're going to build a time machine. I'm going to show you how I look at the future. And I look at the future really simply. I look at three things. I look at 3 days out, 3 weeks out, and 3 months out. And I do specific things around those time periods so that I can plan accurately. So I'm going to teach you how to build a time machine, because that's all planning is. Planning is just visiting the future and taking notes for when you get back. Now on Friday, we'll have another Q&A. We'll focus on those 3 F's, because 3 days, by the way, is firm. 3 weeks is a little bit fuzzy. 3 months is fiction. We'll talk about those 3 F's. How do you make sense of the next 3 days? How do you plan when 3 weeks is kind of fuzzy? How do you plan when 3 months out is fiction? We'll talk about that in the Q&A. On Monday, November 18th, I'll teach you the art of prioritizing your goals. How do you prioritize this massive list? Remember, I gave you a week to build this list. Now we've got this list. We've got something tangible. How do you prioritize them? See, most people like you and I don't have a problem coming up with new goals. We have too many goals. We have massive lists of goals. So how do we eliminate some fake goals? How do we assign the real ones to the right part of the year? How do we get a rough estimate of how much time they're going to cost? What do we do there? And here's what's going to happen. You're going to commit on this day to a 30-day sprint. We're going to do a 30-day sprint together. Remember, I told you you'd have a time-tested goal. You'd have real proof. We're going to spend 30 days in the middle of this 8 weeks working on an actual goal so that we can learn and learn and learn and learn, so that when we start on January, we already know what we're good at. So you're going to pick a goal and you're going to commit to 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes a day. It ends up being about 7.5 hours of work, but just 15 minutes a day. And we're going to work on that goal. On Wednesday, November 20th, I'm going to teach you the simple way to track goals. The activity is we're going to create a tracking system, and we're going to use it on our 30-day sprint. I want you to get really good at understanding your results so that you can magnify your results. I want you to understand your results so you can expand them. On Friday, November 22nd, we're going to talk in the Q&A about tracking systems. We're going to kick those around and figure out what works for you. Is it time? Is it activity? Is it the actual numbers? Like, okay, I ran X amount of miles, I read X amount of pages, I wrote X amount of pages. What works for you? On Monday, November 25th, we're going to talk about beating perfectionism with flexibility. I'm going to teach you a concept you're going to love. I call it plan like an engineer, live like an artist. Plan like an engineer, live like an artist. So how do we plan with detail and intentionality, but live with flexibility? Because life forces you to be flexible. How do we do both of those things? And we're going to create strategies for what I call the day after perfect. So goals would be easy if they were always perfect, but guess what? There's some days you're going to miss it. Some days when you're going to fall, some days when you're going to fail. Let's not be surprised by that. Let's plan for that. On Wednesday, November 27th, we're going to talk about retiring broken soundtracks. I'm going to teach you the mindset loop. Everything you need to know about mindset can be summarized this. Great thoughts turn into great actions. Great actions turn into great results. So how do we get those thoughts that turn into actions that turn into results? I'm going to teach you how to pay attention to yourself over the next 48 hours. We're going to start to learn how to notice the stories we're telling ourselves about ourselves. Now on Saturday, we're doing a special Saturday Q&A because Friday is Black Friday. It's the day after Thanksgiving. Folks are going to be traveling, so we're going to be flexible. What did I just say? We're going to be flexible. We're going to live like an artist. We're going to do a special Saturday Q&A where we focus on some broken soundtracks. Now on Monday, December 2nd, we're going to create new soundtracks. You and I are going to create the mindset we want. And our activity is going to be creating 5 custom soundtracks you'll use in 2025. I don't want you to leave your mindset up to chance. I want you to enter the year with a rock solid mindset, a winning mindset. So that's what we're going to do. On Wednesday, I'm going to teach you how to beat self-sabotage. we're going to talk about beating self-sabotage and how to enjoy the wins we have. You have permission to win. You have permission to be successful. How do you settle into that? How do you get comfortable with that? How do you not self-sabotage before you get to the finish line? On Friday, we'll do another Q&A. We'll focus on our wins and our new soundtracks. On Monday, December 9th, I'll teach you the goal ladder. How do you climb this action ladder? How do you break down massive goals into actions you can actually do? And we'll fill the action ladder out. On Wednesday, we'll talk about building a goal community. You were not meant to chase goals alone. You were not meant to chase goals in isolation. So we're going to create a list of 7 people that you're going to encourage, give, and connect with. EGC. And then on Friday, that's what we'll discuss. Friday the 13th, we'll discuss that tool. On Monday, I'll teach you how to hook up your future self. How do you establish some long-range goals for future you? What can you do today to make future you happy? I want future you to be thrilled at the work you do right now. That's how I think about the future. On Wednesday, we'll do an assessment of the 30-day sprint. The 30 days is already up. It's going to fly by. So we're going to assess what worked. What did you learn? What were you surprised at? What caught you off guard? What did you figure out that if you take it to the new year will amplify your results, will make you massively successful? And then we're going to start another little challenge, just a little small one, not a 30-day, a 7-day. We're going to start a 7-day challenge to help you build community. We're going to give you 7 days to work on your community. On Friday, we'll do another Q&A. And we'll probably end up talking a lot about that 30-day sprint that we all just did. On Monday, we're going to talk about filling out a brilliant first quarter plan. On Monday, the 23rd, you're about 10 days out from January 1st. Let's start getting really detailed on that first quarter plan. Now, spoiler alert, you will have been building it all along. All during this 8 weeks, we'll be building that quarterly. So you're not starting from scratch. You're starting with help already. We're going to build it. On the 25th, it's a video lesson. These aren't live. It's a video lesson. So if right now you're like, I like you, John, I'm not coming on Christmas. It's a video lesson. And we're going to talk about if you can see it, you can build it. You can watch it the day after Christmas or a couple days after, whatever works for your schedule. But I'm going to teach you how to visualize this great 2025, because if you can see something, it's a lot easier to get there. Then on Friday, we're going to do another Q&A, our last Q&A, and we're going to focus on that picture you created of 2025. And then on Monday, there's a bonus day. We're going to review your first quarter plan, and we're going to commit to it. If that seems like a lot, don't worry. Don't worry. I've custom designed each exercise to give you maximum success with minimum time, because I know something. I know November and December are really busy months. I do. I'm a dad. I've got 2 daughters. I'm married. I always laugh when some 24-year-old single adult living in LA goes, here's how to do your time schedule. You don't have kids. You don't have a spouse. You're not that busy. I'm busy. So are you. So I've designed these lessons to be highly efficient, highly productive, and highly helpful. The content is lean and effective. In addition, there'll be a community. There'll be a community that goes through this all together. And it's the most encouraging people you've ever met. You'll get workbooks, tracking sheets, and more resources than you can possibly imagine. Now, courses like this are usually $5,000 to $10,000. They're usually around $5,000 to $10,000, given the amount of tools, the amount of coaching, the amount of access, the conversations, all the stuff that comes in usually equals about $5,000 to $10,000. But we wanted as many people as possible to get into this challenge. We wanted as many people as possible to have the greatest year ever. So if you're even the tiniest bit curious, sign up today. You're going to be blown away at the price. You're going to be flabbergasted at the price when you see it. You're going to be thrilled at the price. The content is going to overwhelm you. You're going to be blown away at how much content there is. And then you're going to see the price and go, that is awesome. Here's what I know. Great years aren't built in January. They're built in November. Give yourself a head start to your greatest year ever. Sign up today. I'll see you soon.